there, welcome to another Team Clueless Battle Report. Today we are having another game with the new Tyranids. Paul is bringing them out to play today. We're playing 2,000 points and it's a Purge the Alien mission, and we're playing Diagonal Deployment. What's that called? Vanguard Strike. So this is the table. It's a bit of a cityfied table with some industrial bits on there to give us some line of sight blocking. The diagonal line is across the centre there. And Paul is setting up over here with his Tyranids, and I am over there with my combined forces of the Imperium. I'm taking a Xenos Inquisitor today, leading some Blood Angels and Imperial Guard into battle. Let's see what we've got in our armies. So for my 2,000 points combined Imperium army today, we are being led as a warlord by a Xenos Inquisitor there. She's got no other Inquisition troops with her, she's just allied in as you can do. So she got the Warlord trait, which lets her and her unit automatically pass or fail any leadership check they choose to make. I get to choose. And for psychic powers, surprise, surprise, she has prescience. The only other item she's got other than psychic powers is that she has the Tomb of Vethric, which gives her and her unit Monster Hunter when fighting against Tyranids, so pretty handy. So, onto the Blood Angels, who are actually my main detachment today. They are being led by a Reclusiarch there. He has no upgrades at all. He's just bare bones, but he's quite good bare bones. He's leading a squad of 7 Death Company Marines. 2 of them have power axes, the other 5 have no upgrades. They're rocking around in a Land Raider Crusader with a multi-melter. Other troop choices we have are 2 squads of 10 Assault Marines. One of them has 2 melter guns and a power fist. The other one has 2 flamers, 2 hand flamers, and some melter bombs. For elites, we have a Furioso Dreadnought. He's got multi-melter heavy flamer, and he has the Blood Talons. And he has a drop pod to send him into combat. For the Imperial Guard contingent, we have a platoon command squad there. They have 4 plasma guns, and they have a Chimera to rock around in. We have an infantry platoon consisting of 2 squads of standard infantry with a grenade launcher and autocannon in each. The platoon command squad have 4 flamers. They're generally going to be riding around in the Vendetta. We also have in the infantry platoon 3 heavy weapon team mortars. Rounding them off at the back there, we have a Basilisk. Let's see what the evil empire of the Tyranids are bringing along.
Okay, Hive Fleet Charybdis is back with a new codex to try out. So today we're trying a wide variety of different types of units. We're being led by our winged Hive Tyrant. He is carrying a heavy venom cannon. He's got adrenal glands, electroshock grubs and wings, and he's rolled up the horror and catalyst as his psychic powers. And his warlord power allows me to downgrade 1 piece of cover by 1. In troops we have ye olde massive squad of 28 Hormagaunts, and new, we haven't just taken 10 Termagants, we've got 30 Termagants as the new requirements to unlock the Tervagon. Tervagon has electroshock grubs and has rolled up the Dominion power. Also in troops we have 5 Gene Stealers led by Broodlord with the horror power, 3 Tyranid warriors, one of which has got a barbed strangler. And now in the elites we have 2 units of Zoanthropes, a unit of 2 and a unit of 1. Both have Warp Blast and Paroxysm. And masquerading as Chaos Spawn we have a unit of 3 Venomthropes. In the fast attack we've got these Harpy Dakka Jets. The Harpies are carrying the twin-linked heavy venom cannons. For heavies we've got 2 units of 3 Biovores, masquerading as Hive Guard, and a Trigon Prime carrying a Miasma Cannon. So we'll see how that does with these new rules. Okay, so we are set up and ready to go. We have set up, pretty much taken up the whole deployment zone. I've got my big unit of Hormagaunts on the right hand side and the Termagants on the left hand side. A Harpy at either end. We've got the Tervagon in the middle with a Hive Tyrant behind him. Nestled in the middle, of course, are the Venomthropes trying to cover as many units as they can. And we've got a unit of Biovores on either side. Infiltrated into the central building there, I'm not sure if you can see them, but there's a unit of Gene Stealers lying in wait. There they are. And the Trigon Prime is tunneling beneath the battlefield, ready to pop up and cause some havoc. Over on the Imperial side, Basilisk hiding in the back as always. The Imperial Guard have set up in the front half of this unit, of this building, which is a building which I'm acidic sliming.
Oh no, my feet!
And yeah, very cleverly gone up to the top part of the buildings, which is slowly sinking into the ground. And the Blood Angel Assault Squad on this side. We've got the Land Raider, and that's got those Death Company and Reclusiarch in it. And a Chimera with, what's in this one?
Command Squad.
The Command Squad. Your mortars are over here, and then still in reserve we've got a Vendetta full of nasties. And
a Dreadnought and the Assault Squad with melter guns and a power fist.
That's right. So Mike is going to try and steal the initiative. Needs a 6.
Come on, dice. It's a 4.
It's a 4. That's a relief, because with this amount of area to set up in, I was very susceptible to getting mortared to hell and back. So I'm quite glad I'm going to get a chance to move before that starts happening. Oh, it's night fighting as well, so that's going to aid my hopefully assist my move up to try and engage. Okay, so the Tyranids have had their first turn. As you can see, the whole line's moved up a little. The High Tyrants cast Catalyst on himself and the Venom Thropes. The 2 Harpies have moved out to the flanks and have taken shots through the darkness at the vehicles. We managed to get a penetrating hit on the Chimera, but it made its saving throw, and 2 shots ricocheted harmlessly off the Land Raider's Iron Hide. We managed to get some shots off with this Biovore squad, putting it right on the tip of the Land Raider there, and managed to get lucky and it scattered backwards. So a couple of spores landed there. They tried to assault these mortar guys, who shot one of them, and the other one failed to get in. So there's a spore floating around there. Probably won't cause the Imperials too much on its own. And that's the end of my turn 1. Okay, Tyranid turn 2. The Trigon burrowed its way onto the battlefield. Unfortunately, the Inquisitor has carefully castled all of his troops around the Land Raider of Instant Death and the Chimera of Instant Plasma Death. So we had to try a very risky deep strike. We tried to get come up here to try and get some side shots on the Basilisk before charging some Space Marines or something. But unfortunately, it scattered off the board, and as always happens with the scattering off the board, I rolled a 1 on the deep strike mishap table, so that's the end of the 250 point Tygon Prime. Not very good, in fact extremely bad. Elsewhere on the battlefield this turn, we had some success with the Zoanthropes, who needed to deal with this Dreadnought which had drop potted behind us. This Zoanthrope managed to have his warp plants resisted, but these 2 destroyed it in spectacular fashion. We fired some Biovore spores over to these mortar team. They actually need to make a morale check.
On camera morale check.
4. They're
amazing.
okay.
They passed.
So that's unfortunate, but we've managed to destroy one of them. We also piled 3 heavy venom cannon shots in on the Chimera to try and get at the plasma at the inside, but to no avail. We destroyed the heavy bolter and dealt it a hull point. And I think that's all. These Hormagaunts have been racing forward. I've rolled a 9 and an 8 for their run moves so far, so that's been very nice. Let's see what happens next turn.
So it is Xenos Alliance turn 3 or 2?
Yeah,
3?
Oh no, 2.
2. It is 2, I was going to say. So, turn 2. So the Vendetta came in, fly over and landed there. The mortars in the base, one of them had to move to get in coherency, so I only had 1 shot with those. I fired it over towards the Venom Thropes, but failed to do anything. I think I killed 1 Termagant. I then issued a few orders. They issued the order on the big squad of Imperial Guard to fire over at that Harpy, but unfortunately I think I did it 1 wound, but Paul passed his grounding check. Story of the turn, unfortunately for me. We then fired our plasma guns up at the Hive Tyrant. I got a couple of hits on him. This was again with another order, because I'd rolled a double 1 at some point, so I got 3 orders out of them this turn. And I managed to put 2 wounds onto the Hive Tyrant there, which was pretty sweet. But still he stayed in the air. I then fired the Vendetta at him. Managed to do, I think, no wounds.
Maybe it was no,
yeah, because he was on 2 after I fired the Vendetta. But I forced another grounding check. I think he made his feel no pain because he had cast Catalyst. But he made his grounding check again. I then fired the Chimera up at him, missed. I then fired the Land Raider up at him with half his shots. I managed to get 2 wounds through to him. He saved one of them, so he took another wound and then passed another grounding check. What else did we fire? These Space Marines, which are the ones with the flamers, leapt forward into the Hormigant swarm and flamed away, killing 12. But then I was just 1 inch outside of charge range when I rolled. Then we also fired a Hurricane Bolter up at that flying beastie, but failed to ground it again. Over at the back there, my Melter squad came in, and through some excellent rolling by me and some poor rolling by Paul, I managed to wipe out all 3 Biovores back there. A couple of instant deaths with Melter guns, and then bolt pistols did for the 3rd member. That was quite handy. And the Basilisk, again, is not doing a whole lot. I'd managed to put a beautiful shot down there, hitting 2 Venom Thropes and all 3 Tyranid warriors, but then I scattered 7 inches off there and nearly killed my own drop pod, so it wasn't particularly good. That was my turn. And I managed to pick off the Broodlord with, wait for it, Storm Bolter on the drop pod. I was quite happy. Paul was displeased.
Tyranid turn 3. The Hive Tyrant, deciding that he was on 1 wound and that he ought to try and achieve something before he dies, decided to go into hopping mode, hopped down to here. He fired his heavy venom cannon and his electroshock grubs at the Chimera at point blank range, hoping to open it up so he could eat the delicious insides, but in fact managed to do 0 wounds with his strength 9 and his haywire attack. Then fell to the 2 harpies to try and open it up, and between them they managed to put 1 wound on it. Getting frustrated, he tried to charge the tank and then died to a hail of plasma fire from Overwatch. An ignominious end to the Hive Tyrant. Over here, Mike's... Oh, the building's not... so my squad had dropped down. These Hive Zoanthropes turned around and warp blasted them, doing quite a nice number of casualties. And then the Biovores dropped a bunch of spores on their heads, so they've been reduced to just 4 left, past their leadership check.
You killed the Sergeant of the Power Fist, which was quite important.
Yeah, you've got 1 Melter guy left and 3 normal dudes. This Zoanthrope had managed to get into to range for a warp lance on the tank, and although he tried... Oh, just to underline the Hive Tyrant's failure, he managed to run 11 for both of his psychic powers that turn. So he failed to pin these guys, and he failed to get a Feel No Pain that might have saved him from that plasma. This Zoanthrope was in range of a warp lance, so he duly attempted a warp lance on the Land Raider, but unfortunately he missed with his attack. Over here, I had an interesting choice. So we had these spore mines and the Hormagaunts both threatening these Blood Angels. So I tried to charge the spore mines into the Blood Angels to assault them, and attempting to draw Overwatch fire, allowing the Hormagaunts to charge safely because there's 4 flamers in this squad, or 2 flame pistols and 2 flamers. Unfortunately, these get half charge, so I needed to roll an 8 and managed a 7. And Mike correctly held his fire and relied on me rolling under 8. So the Overwatch was still active when it came to the Hormagaunts, and it didn't really seem worth charging into fiery death. So the Hormagaunts have held their charge as well. Not terribly exciting, to be honest. Let's see how the Space Marines manage on their turn 3.
Ordo Xenos Forces, turn 3. So first thing I did this turn, the Vendetta it couldn't really get any good shots on. There was such a carpet of models around. There was no way I could keep in the air and still shoot, so he flew off the board. I then decided to fire all of my stuff at this Harpy over here. It's still there. I fired the guys in the back of the Chimera and the full squad up there using fire on my target, or whichever one it is. No, bring it down I used. So they all got twin links. I managed to put quite a few wounds on it, and Paul managed to jink and keep it in the air with 1 wound left. He made a couple of grounding checks. I then fired my Basilisk here, and I prescienced it, so I could try and land it in that nice clump there. Unfortunately, both times with the reroll from prescience, I scattered over to here and just killed a lone Tyranid warrior. This squad here, the Flamer squad, decided to do a strange multi-assault. I haven't bunched them up yet for next turn. So they moved into this weird formation, so I get a multi-assault off on the Hormagaunts and the Zoanthrope there, who was threatening my Land Raider. I did a nice string out, and I only put a few Flamer wounds on because I didn't want to wipe out the Hormagaunts. And then I charged. I managed to beat up all but one of the Hormagaunts, who is now running because he was outside of Synapse range. And I've engaged the Zoanthrope. Didn't manage to put any wounds on him, but next turn, obviously, my squad will be getting closer. Over here, the Land Raider moved forward and disgorged the Death Company. I then fired all of my guns at the 2 zone throats at the back here and managed to kill one of them with combined bolter fire. The Death Company charged forward and engaged the squad of 30 termagants. I lost 2 of my number to their overwatch and then their counter-attacking return attacks, but I managed to wipe them out, leaving, well, nearly wipe them out. There are 2 of them left, which I'm reasonably confident I can kill in his turn, so that's pretty ideal. The mortar down here did nothing as usual. Over here, this squad moved forward to engage the last 2 biovores. I managed to put 2 wounds on them, which put the second one of them down to 1 wound. So there are 2 biovores there, each on 1 wound, but I then failed my charge afterwards. So a pretty reasonable turn, but the 2 harpies are my main worry, as they're really in my lines. Let's see what happens on Paul's go.
Okay, Tyranids turn 4. Both the harpies went into hopping about mode. This guy shot his heavy venom cannon into the Chimera and did the final hull point to it, wrecking it. The guys bundled out the back, and he then promptly swooped down on them, trying to chomp them up. But he only managed to kill 1, which suits me just fine. This one, which is only on 1 wound, decided to hop after the Land Raider and smash attack it in the back. Having failed to do a single glance to it all day after peppering it with 2 warp blasts and quite a number of heavy venom cannon shots, he blew it up in 1 smash attack. So that was very nice. The Zoanthrope here cast Paroxysm and managed to reduce this the weapon skill of this squad down by 3, but it wasn't enough, and he was still overcome. And over here, the Venomthropes and the Tyranid warriors have killed 3 of the 4 Space Marines. Obviously, the Death Company finished off the 2 remaining termagants. And what did I do? Oh, these guys tried to barrage over here and only managed to hit a harpy, but luckily the harpy made its saving throw.
Okay, forces of the Inquisition turn 4. This turn Vendetta came back on and made short work of the harpy that was on 1 wound. Unfortunately, the other harpy managed to beat up one of my plasma gunners in close combat, but then I failed my leadership check by 1 and scarpered off the very short distance to the edge of the board. He is now deciding what he's going to eat. He's either going to eat a basilisk or he's going to eat a mortar team. My Imperial Guard squad, led by the Inquisitor, decided to take on the Tervagon, who is hiding in the ruins in the centre. I cast Prescience, and because of my Book of Vethric, or Tome of Vethric, I get Monster Hunter as well, so I'm rerolling to hit and to wound, so I managed to get 4 wounds off the Tervagon. I then charged in with my Space Marine squad. Unfortunately, because I got Paroxysmed last turn, I'm still Weapon Skill 1. I only managed to get 1 more wound through onto the Tervagon, so he's on 1 wound, is that correct?
He's got 4 wounds left.
Oh, I didn't do any wounds to him. Nasty. But then Paul didn't do any wounds back to me, so we had a drawn combat. The Hormigant over there led a charmed life, basically being charmed because he was an inch outside the range of the drop pod. Over in this combat, this Space Marine really did have a charmed life. He is surrounded by nasty Tyranid beasties, and between all of them, they failed to land a single wound on him. I don't think I had to make a save.
You didn't have to make a save.
Yeah, I didn't even need my power armor.
3 ones to wound.
I could have been naked there and survived. My Basilisk took a careful aim at the 2 biovores that were in the centre of that building, so I could get my barrage shot through. I managed to clip both of them, and Paul failed both of his area train saves, and both of them died, so that was quite nice. The Death Company mopped up the Zoanthrope, and that was it, I believe. Ordo Xenos Alliance turn 5. So this turn, Vendetta decided to go kill point hunting and attacked the lone Hormigant in the ruins that was over there. He failed to kill him, but the squad led by the Inquisitor opened fire with their autocannons and managed to pluck him down, even though he had a 2-up cover save. Over here, the Basilisk took aim and lobbed a shell over there and was trying to kill all 3 of the Venomthropes, but he only managed to kill 2 of them. The Death Company made a 12-inch charge. I think I needed 8 inches, but they made the 12-inch and beat up the Tyranid warriors in combat. And in the centre, we had another drawn round of combat, but this time we each did 2 wounds to each other. So they're still locked in combat in the middle there. But the game has then ended. The victory points at the end, I have 14 VPs. That includes my 1/4 Warlord, which was the Hive Tyrant, and due to the assault by the Death Company, I also get Linebreaker. And Paul has 7, including 1 for Linebreaker down here with his remaining Harpy. So, Paul, thoughts on your first use with the new Tyranid Codex?
I think it seems fine. There's been lots of, sort of criticism of it on the internet. Obviously, some of the units that used to be great aren't so good as they were. I might try and Turvagonless list next time. A list with no Turvagons next time to see how that goes. Maybe try out a few more Gene Stealers, see if I can get them to survive long enough to do anything. Although perhaps they died before they did anything, so just that would be a good idea. I really like the harpies and the flying, having three flying monstrous creatures was really good. I've only ever taken one before because I didn't use harpies before. But that was really nice.
Yeah, I found they were really threatening to me.
And I enjoyed having quite a lot of barrage. I really liked the biovores and what was it? Oh yes, these guys flying over and dropping spores.
Yeah.
The spores are a lot. The spores didn't do anything, but they were quite good fun. There was a moment where 3 of them were charging in against this squad, threatening to blow up.
Yeah, I was quite packed in down there.
And that was quite entertaining. And there was another one which was chasing some blood angels over here, but didn't get in there either.
Yeah, the fact that you could use them to absorb the Overwatch, I think, is quite a nice tricksy way of using them because they're allowed to assault after you've fired them.
Yeah.
So they can give good use there against things like Tau and such.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was good fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was quite impressed by the harpies. I originally thought I much preferred the hive crone to them, but after seeing the action, the fact the venom cannon is just a good gun.
Yeah.
That you can threaten every target with it, even though they didn't do particularly well because you were rolling so badly on your penetrating rolls. But they pop that, allowing you to charge in. But the fact that they can threaten any target, I think, is a really useful effect to have.
Yeah, and they did good with the smash attacks to destroy the land raider.
Yeah, the fact that because they look, I mean, we're obviously using planes, but even the actual proper harpy models look like they're permanently flying. At times I forgot that they can go onto ground mode and start smashing one up. One just beat up the back of the land raider, didn't he?
Yeah, and the other one beat up these guys over here.
Yeah. So they're really assaulted well.
So maybe if I'd had my Trigon Prime, things might have been a little different.
Yeah, I think that was the turn. 250 points just disappearing on one die roll.
Yeah. In
your turn, giving me first blood as well.
Yes.
Because you'd have got the Dreadnought first blood over there if you hadn't have done that.
That's right. Yes, I need to think of I don't know. It seemed like there wasn't any good ways to place it, so I decided to be risky. But perhaps I should have just taken a more conservative approach to it. Brought it up in some area terrain somewhere. And started shooting containment spines. That probably would have been better. Oh well.
Overall, a good game though.
Excellent.
See you next time.